Alright, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm changing things up a little bit by opening 5 booster packs instead of 3. This way, and I'm going to try and keep this as often as possible, one of each Planeswalker represented. We have Gideon, Jace, Liliana, Chandra, and Nissa. Hope I'm pronouncing all of those right. Alright, without further ado, let's open them in WUBRG order. Set this down here. I don't know how I've never really seen other people sort, although I've seen the guy at my local card shop who sorts things a certain way, but I haven't really seen different ways for sorting it. And kind of keep the WUBRG thing going with the commons, and I want to leave enough room then to have uncommons available. We'll do WUBRG and then artifacts and lands if necessary. There we go. Sky Snare Spider. Uncommon. 6/6 for 6. Vigilance and reach. It's like Sarah Angel who? 6 mana for a 6/6 creature in green. That's pretty good. Giving it vigilance, excellent. Giving it reach, even better. So it can block flying creatures fairly well. It can attack without potentially losing the blocker. It's just a good creature all the way around. In an assault formation type of deck, this would be a decent creature to put out immediately because it's not affected by the assault formation since its toughness is already 6. But the way assault formation works, you could actually pump itself up twice with that 6 mana anyway. And if somebody destroys your assault formation, this is a nice back. I don't know. I mean, everybody can play however they want to play, but I'm just trying to keep things interesting. Valor in Akros. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Interesting. 4 mana, not too bad. Red-white, because of all the tokens. You can put out Hordling Outburst, suddenly giving all your creatures +3/+3 for 3 mana. That's incredible. I think it triggers when it enters the battlefield, so the creature that comes into play gets the effect too. So Haste would benefit from this type of a card. As uncommon, 4 mana enchantment, it's not too bad. Skyfield of Nyx would make this into a 4/4 creature, and I'm pretty sure... I think it would trigger. I'm not sure. I'd need to look that up. Alright, next card. Consul's Lieutenant. 2/1 for 2, first strike and renown. Whenever it attacks, if it's renowned, other attacking creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Sorry about the glare. 2/1 for 2 is good. First strike works perfectly. Get it renowned, it becomes a 3/2 first strike, and whenever it attacks and is renowned, other attacking creatures get +1/+1 until end of turn. This would do terrifically with an Anax and Simeta deck, in my opinion. And then, hey, we got a Relic Seeker. Neat. A lot of white cards in this pack. Yeah, I'd go with the Relic Seeker, then possibly, probably go green. We'll see. But we'll do commons, then uncommons, then rare, like that. Here's our land. It's a common basic. And a advertisement card. Alright, now we do Jace. Let's see. Chandra's Fury. Grasp. Night Snare. Dragon Fodder. Good card. Unlimited, even better. Experience. Bellows Lizard. Stalwart Aven. Ringwarden Owl. Shadows of the Past. Whenever a creature dies, scry 1. Excellent. And 4 and 1 black. Each opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. Activate this ability only if there are 4 more creature cards in your graveyard. Decent card. I like it. The scry ability triggers. It makes itself useful when you have multiple copies of it. So you could play 4 of them and still expect to get something good out of it for that reason, because they would trigger separately. So you do scry 1. If you want to keep it, then you go through each of the scry triggers, putting it right back on top. But yeah, that is a thing. It's a pretty nice card. Obviously, the life gain effect works interestingly in multiplayer, but on its own, 2 mana for that scry effect whenever a creature dies. It doesn't have to be your creature; it can be your opponent's creature. That's pretty darn good. It's not a card engine, but it gets you closer to your combo, and that's why it's a good card. Foundry of the Consuls. I love this card. I think we're going away from having lands that turn into creatures, and I think that will become most apparent in Battle for Zendikar, the next expansion coming out in September release, pre-release and release. This is the effect of Foundry of the Consuls is it taps for colorless mana immediately, but then you can pay 5 and sacrifice Foundry of the Consuls, put 2 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield. The way that works, you're technically paying 6 mana. This is your land drop, and you pay 5 and you tap it. This is be your 6th mana. That's, I don't know, people don't necessarily think of it that way, but that's how that works. Putting out the 2 top Thopter tokens, excellent. When you need creatures, that's a really good effect. You can do it at the end of your opponent's turn. This would be great in a control deck, because then you can switch it around, and it triggers with effects like Valor and Akros. As them coming into play, you can trigger that when you need to pump up your creatures 2 times. So it's something to think about, and I really like the card. Again, I think Battle for Zendikar will have this type of creatures instead of having the creeping Tar Pit and Raging Ravine type of cards. They might have the opposed colors, but have them be lands that put tokens into play instead. At least that's my theory. Set it over here. Haven't yet to see an artifact. Revenant! Reprint from Stronghold. 5 mana for a flying spirit creature. Power type is equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. And our rare card is Tragic Arrogance. 5 mana sorcery. For each player, you choose from among the permanents that player controls an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker. Then each player sacrifices all other non-land permanents he or she controls. So it doesn't destroy lands. It's not quite Cataclysm. But you get to choose. You choose your own permanents that you want to keep, and you choose the permanents your opponent controls that you want them to keep. And that can be very unbalancing as an effect. But if they only have 1 planeswalker or 1 enchantment or 1 artifact, then your hands are tied. You have to choose those. It's an interesting card. Let's see. Oh, we got an Angel token, and let's see, I guess I can put that right there. And Forest. Liliana pack. All right. Full grasp. Let's see. A Crowan Jailer. 1 mana to get out for a 1/1 creature, and then you can pay 3 and tap to tap target creature. That's a lot of mana to pay to tap a target creature effect when you look at other cards, like I believe Gideon has a creature that's 1 white mana and then 1 white mana and tap to tap target creature, and there's a Kithkin creature that does the same effect and is a soldier as well. So we have this one as a human soldier, and it's 3 and tap to tap target creature. I think that's actually a clue that it would be too powerful to have a 1 mana 1/1 creature that had 1 and tap in standard, considering that there were the other one, Gold Meadow Harriers, the one I'm thinking of from Kithkin. I think this tells us that we might get more tap effects coming up, and that this would be a common level version of that. Let's see. Yeva's Force Mage. Watercourser. Knight of the Pilgrim's Road. Unholy Hunger. Deep Sea Terror, another 6 mana, 6/6 creature, but it can't attack unless there are 7 or more cards in your graveyard. Wild Instincts. Elemental Bond. Whenever a creature with power 3 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. In green, that's not too hard to do. This completely negates the drawback of Rogue Elephant and Scavenging Tiger, I think it is. Because, well, it just basically means that you play your creatures and you draw cards from the back. You can play Garrick's Companion, you could play Centaur Courser. There's so many different cards that are just 2 or 3 mana that are 3 power creatures that you just put them out and draw new cards. That might be enough to build a deck around. At least it'd be fast. Acolyte of the Inferno, Renowned. Let's see, whenever Acolyte of the Inferno becomes blocked by a creature, deals 2 damage to that creature. 3/1 for 3, not bad. And Possessed Scab. I didn't make room for multicolored cards. We'll set it over here. They're all going to be uncommon anyway. And our rare card is Hallowed Moonlight. Until end of turn, if a creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exile it instead. So this gets rid of tokens. As an instant, you get to draw a card. 2 mana. I like this card a lot. It definitely would go very well in Commander, where you have things like, in my experience, I like to cast Natural Order for Terastodon. This would stop my Terastodon coming into play. It would exile it instead, and my opponent would draw a card. So, something I have to worry about. But in Standard, I think this probably tells us more tokens are coming into play with effects. So, that's something to think about. Again, I really think that that's going to be coming in Battle for Zendikar. Then we have a Soldier token and an Island. Interesting. So far we've got 3 different basic lands, but we've got mostly white cards from these packs. Let's see, Deadbridge Shaman. When it dies, target opponent discards a card. Interesting. 3/1 for 3. Your opponent wants to kill it. It's too big otherwise. Amprin Tactician. 3/3 for 4. When it enters the battlefield, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Decent. Fetid Imp. Elvish Visionary. Nivix Barrier. Topan Freeblade. Claustrophobia. Guardians of Meletis. Finally, we got an artifact. Fiery Impulse. Now, Seismic Elemental. This card is extremely good in limited, to the point where I would say you should probably get one of these. If it comes around for like your 3rd pick, grab it. Or, well, it depends on how far you go through. Because there aren't enough flying creatures that people would just swing out with their flying creatures. And as you can see, when it enters the battlefield, creatures without flying can't block this turn. So, 5 mana for 4/4, it doesn't have haste, but if you could give it haste, or get... Basically, the point is, this can suddenly make you win the game by playing it, putting it into play. It's a decent card. Let's see, Blazing Hellhound. 1, sacrifice another creature, deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Decent, if you're going to lose the creature anyway. And then Eyeblight Massacre. This pack will not... No, there's no foil in this. Eyeblight Massacre. Non-elf creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. Interesting. And our rare card is Knight of the White Orchid. Sorry. 2 mana for 2/2. First strike. When it enters the battlefield, if an opponent controls more lands than you, you may search your library for a Plains card, put it onto the battlefield, and then shuffle your library. Very decent card. Yeah, I think this is a reprint from Alara Block. I'm pretty sure. I'm not completely sure. I wasn't actually playing when Alara Block was out in Standard. Really good card. 2/2 first strike for 2 is amazing. That's weird that we get 4 rare white cards out of each pack. And a mountain. We've got 4 different land types out of these 4 packs so far. 4 different rare white cards. A Magic Origins flip. I should probably edit one of these, or cut one of these so that people can see that transforming flip from, if you've ever, I don't know if you've searched through my YouTube account and saw where I did one of these advertisement cards as a Planeswalker, where it flips over just check my account. Set that there, and the final pack, I am tempted to just look and see what the land is, just to see if it's going to be like a Plains or something. Wow. Okay, so that's kind of neat. We got 5 different basic lands out of this pack, out of these 5 packs. That's pretty cool, in my opinion anyway. Alright, back to the actual cards. Aromancer, Touch of Moonglove, Act of Treason, Mighty Leap, Elvish Visionary, Artificer's Epiphany. We would probably go green-white if we were playing this as a sealed deck, where we look through the packs and put together a deck out of it. We'd probably go green-white. Maybe green-white-black, but mostly green-white, because we have mana production, we have card draw, we have well, not quite token production, but we have ways to pump up our creatures. There's a lot going on here, and it's all good. Let's see, Alchemister's Vial, Ringwarden Owl, Bellows Lizard, Psychic Rebuttal. Decent card. Sumberwald Alpha. Whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Then for 2 mana, target creature you control gains trample until end of turn. That's an odd thing that they'd have to make it only creatures you control. Because Wolf Tribal would be fun to play in Commander, and being able to give other opponents' creatures trample when they attack, maybe that made it too good. Makes you wonder anyway. Let's see. Got 2 more cards here. Sumberwald Alpha. Next card is Thopter Engineer. When it enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying onto the battlefield. This works with the Valor and Akros effect too, because artifact creatures you control have haste. So this and the artifact creature enter simultaneously, would both buff each other +2/+2, and then the artifact would be able to attack. Again, red-white token production is pretty good. And our rare, I wonder if it's going to be a white card. I wonder. Let's see. And it is Jace's Sanctum. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 colorless mana less to cast. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, scry 1. Well, this was a decent group of packs. Again, amazing that we'd get... I know it doesn't seem like much of a big deal, but to me, that's kind of cool that we got 5 different basic lands. And, yeah, like I said, I would probably play green-white. I mean, look at all the cards we got here. But the video's about at 15 minutes, so I think I'll stop here. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you saw some great combos or great new cards and gave you something to think about, maybe inspired you a little bit. And again, I hope you're having a wonderful morning, a wonderful afternoon, or a wonderful evening. And I hope tomorrow is even better. Take care, everybody.